excited,
excited
so
to have you.
exciting. Wake up early in the morning. Can you hear me okay?
I can hear you great. I can
All
hear
right.
you great.
Oh, I turn off my phone. Turn off the phone, so we don't need the phone anymore, Helena?
No, you don't need
You
it.
turn off the phone too, huh?
Yeah, yeah.
Thank you, Ellen, for being here.
Of
helping me.
course, yes.
Yeah.
Thank you, Ellen.
Oh, you're welcome.
Mm. Yes, sir. So,
Yes.
anytime.
Can you give the correct pronunciation of your name? I just want to make
Oh,
sure.
yeah.
I got it.
Kieu Chinh.
Kieu
Kieu Chinh.
Kieu Chinh.
Kieu Chinh, yeah.
So you were born in Hanoi, right? Can you describe your childhood and family?
Yeah, I was born in Hanoi, north of Vietnam. At the time that, at the time that the country is not in war, it was so beautiful. I was born in the happy family, a well-to-do family, until the Second World War, when the Japanese invasion and Allied air forces bombed the Japanese. It hit the hospital where my mom was there giving birth for for the newborn baby, which is my younger brother. So both my mother and my brother was killed. It was so I lost my mom when I think I was 5 or 6. Since then, the family changed, the country situation changed, and I've grown up with the love of my beloved father. He was young, only 32 years old, young man, but he stayed to raise his children. He's more than a father. He's my father, he's my mom, he's my brother, and he's my dear friend. I only know him. I grown up. And then it was sad that I lost him in 1954, when Geneva Agreement divided my country into 2 parts, North communist, South non-communist. So I became a refugee within my own country. I evacuated South by myself, not because I want to, but this is a long story, Greg. Actually, at that time, my father and my only brother and myself planned to go south. Everybody is ready to go south, but the night before we're supposed to leave, my young brother, at that time he was only 18, he decided to go for the revolution with the young generation. Student go for revolution. So he left home. Suddenly he left home in the middle of the night without my father knowing that. So the next day, my father and myself, we had to go to the airport together. We supposed to go together to South. But in the very last minutes, he pushed me on the plane. He said, "You go. I have to stay looking for your father or for your brother, and we will join you in the South later." And then, it was very panic. A lot of people pushing each other. So people pushed me deeper and deeper inside the plane, and then the door closed. So it was the last time that I have seen my father, and the last word I heard from him is, "Be brave, I will join you later." But he didn't make it. And that was the last time I see him. Yeah, it was 1954. Million of people left north to go south. And I became a refugee within my own country when I was 15, almost 16. Yeah.
So that was sometime after the 1954 Operation Passage to Freedom that they brought you to the South, that forced you to go to the South.
Yes.
At that time, what led to acting? What made you, what spurred your interest into acting after that?
Well, actually,
event?
I didn't know, I never dreamed of, and I didn't even know that I would become an actor. Because of movie industry in Vietnam at that time is still very young. But I love movie because I grown up with my father, and he's a widow as a young man. He took me to see movies all the time, every week, every weekend. Every weekend we see at least 2 movies a week. At least 2 movies a week. And most of the movie at that time was speaking French.
French.
Yeah, and my father is fluently in French. So seeing the movie, he would explain to me what it's about why this movie is good and why the other one is so and so. I grown up with his love and I studied music. My dream was in music. I didn't know that I would become an actor. And then talking about later when I was in the South, Saigon, south of Vietnam. And it happened that I got married so early. I'm married to an officer, the paratrooper officer, the son of the family who took me in. And I became the daughter-in-law of the family that who took me. And then my husband then, he is Vietnamese, but he went to America for paratrooper training. And then my husband's family is Buddhist, but I grown up in Catholic schools. So I am between Catholic and Buddhist. So every Sunday I still go to church. One Sunday, like the other, I went to church. And when I walk out from the church, it was on the main street of South Vietnam, Saigon. It called Rue Catina, the main street. And suddenly there is one American from the other side of the street who ran over, tapped on my shoulder and asked me, "Do you speak English?" I turned around, I look at him, I did not answer. So he might understand that, you know, at the time that many soldiers, you know, would look at the girl on the street or something. So he turned around facing me. He said, oh, I'm sorry. We are a group of filmmakers sitting at the other side, which is by the Continental Hotel, the famous hotel in Saigon. We were sitting there. We are here looking for a young Vietnamese lady who could play the leading in our movie. Do you speak English? I said, yes, a little bit. And he said, how about French? You speak French? I said, also a little bit. He said, great. And we, the group of people sitting over there with our director, Mr. Joseph Maskowitz. Joseph Maskowitz. We are going to do a movie and we're looking for a Vietnamese leading role to play the leading role. Can you, do you mind, can I take you over across the street to join the group to talk to our director? I said, okay. So he accompanied me to meet Mr. Joseph Maskowitz. And at that time, I didn't know who he was and, you know, nothing about movie. I didn't expect that. And then they told me that they are doing the movie called The Quiet American. They are about to film The Quiet American. They have already cast the leading man. One is Mr. Michael Redgrave from London, and the Hollywood actor is Audie Murphy, and there would be a Vietnamese leading lady. So they asked me that they would like to have a film test on me, and they gave me the script. They gave me the script and asked me to read it and come back the next day for screen test. And so I came back. I read the script, but before going back to meet the film group, I have to ask my mother-in-law permission to do so.
Sure.
And at that time, my in-law family was a kind of surprise, you know, that the daughter-in-law asking to become an actress in movie. And because the movie industry at that time was too young, and the culture, you know, the very my ex-husband family was very old culture family, and my mother-in-law would ask me that what kind of story, what kind of character are you going to play? I said, I told her a little bit about the story. At first, I lived with the Englishman, and later I fell in love with the American, played by Audie Murphy. My mom said, "Oh no, the good girl would play that kind of character." So I had to go back and say that I'm very sorry. Thank you so much for interested in me for the film test. But I'm sorry, my family wouldn't allow me to do it. And everybody was surprised. What? You know, in Hollywood, if a young girl being asked for a film test by director Joseph Mankiewicz, and you said no to that? I said, yeah, but I appreciate that, but I'm very sorry. This is the culture and the family, you know. I'm sorry, I can't do it. And then, anyway, make the long story short, later, in that meeting, there was a Vietnamese film producer. He was there in the meeting. I didn't know him, but he was there. So later in the movie, the film crew asked me to do a cameo part, a very tiny part. In a scene that Mr. Michael Redgrave walked on street looking for his lover, Phương, played by an Italian actress. Her name is Georgia Moore. Yes, Georgia Moore, who looked like me and I look like her. So Michael Redgrave ran after me, tapped on my shoulder. I turned around and he said, "Oh, I'm sorry, I thought that you are somebody that I'm looking for." So that was the only scene that I have in the movie.
I see.
So the first word of action from my director that I heard is from director Joseph Mankiewicz. Yeah. And then a few months later, the Vietnamese film producer, he stopped his production. They invite me for their leading lady. I said, I told them that, well, I am not sure that my family would allow me to become an actress. He said, okay, let me come to meet your family and I will ask their permission. So he came. He came to meet my parents-in-law and asked them to, for me to go for their movie. My family was surprised why people keep asking me, to be in the movie. And then my mother-in-law asked the producer. By the way, entre parenthèses, my producer is Mr. Bùi Diễm. later he became the last South ambassador, the last ambassador of South Vietnam. He's now still living in Washington D.C. and he is the last ambassador of South Vietnam. Anyway, go back to my story. So he came and he talked to my mother-in-law. My mother-in-law would say that, well, I'm curious, but what kind of character you're asking my daughter-in-law to portray? He said, well, she would be a Buddhist nun, ma'am. And she would, the Buddhist, she is a beautiful nun staying in the famous temple called Thiên Mụ Temple at Hue, center of South Vietnam. And my mother-in-law said, oh, that is wonderful. I would love that. I would love that my daughter-in-law is a Buddhist nun. I would be proud to tell all my friend at temple that is my daughter-in-law. So it was 1957. I became an actress officially, playing a Buddhist nun, and after that, it was my career was blooming, one after another movie, but I didn't play any part that would against the culture of my family.
I see.
Yeah.
I see. Is it shortly after that you were in 2 American productions, right?
Yes, Greg. I've been working continuously, not only local movie, but I have done quite a few movie, not 2 but many. Yeah,
you did a movie with Burt Reynolds, was it, or before Burt Reynolds you did a movie?
Before Burt Reynolds, I worked in the movie called A Yank in Vietnam. A Yank in Vietnam with Marshall Thompson, and then Burt Reynolds in the movie called CIA Operations, and then I worked with in many other movie. I've been working all over in Southeast Asia, from Philippines to Thailand to Taipei, and even in India. And I worked quite a few movies in Philippines. Yeah.
What was the movie in India you worked with? You worked with their most popular actor at the time?
Oh yes. The movie I shot in, I worked in India with the title The Evil Within. My leading man was the famous actor in India. His name is Dev Avnan, but his nickname is Dev King Avnan. He was so famous, they call him like a king. So like a king, yeah. And I portray, my character is the Queen of India.
The Queen.
Yeah. So that was the most fun film that I have ever made. So I would treat it like a queen, and travel all around India, from Udaipur to Jaipur to Nepal to all over in India. And
how long was the production? Was it? Do you remember? Was it a long production for that movie?
It was 2 months shooting.
2 months.
2 months shooting. Travel a lot around India. 2 months. A lot of difficult scene, like I have to ride horses, riding, running from the mountain down, and I remember the shooting was from winter to springtime. From fall to winter.
Wow.
And, yeah, so the continuity of the movie, that I'm supposed to riding horses in the fall, which I wear only a very tiny white shirt, a very silk white shirt with my black trouser and boot, but in the winter in winter, but and riding on horses and running in winter with a silk shirt.
Oh my God, it's so cool. Yes.
I know, it was so cold in India. So I was riding horses, you know, and Devanand riding with me. We run away from my palace, run away. And we run from the hill down, and down at the bottom where the camera is on us running down. And when the director said that cut, I couldn't hold my horse cut because my hand was freezing. I couldn't hold it. And Dev had to run after me to make sure that I'm calm. And one of the horses trainer, he came running. He jumped on my horse and holding the horses for me because I was so cold, you know.
Sure.
Yeah. So yeah, the movie, because of from season to season, weather changing, it was so dangerous. That scene was so dangerous. But I'm happy that only one take because I don't think I can take another take. Yeah.
At that time, so you were extremely popular in Asia. You were working in the Philippines, in India, and Vietnam, and you were also you had a talk show, right? You had a talk show at that time, or?
Yes, I have a. Actually, at that time, the war was escalated, and many Hollywood celebrity went to Vietnam to visit the soldiers or entertain some entertainment like Bob Hope show and many other Vietnamese. Yeah, so I have my Kieu Chinh talk time. Most of Hollywood and Hollywood celebrity went to Saigon. They would guest on my show. Like Glenn Ford was on my show. Danny Kaye was on my show. Diane McBain, T.P. Hedren. It was 1965. Yes. Yeah.
William Holden also?
No, William Holden was not on my show. He never went to Vietnam. He didn't make it. He planned to, but he didn't make it. But I met him many times, many years in Southeast Asia Film Festival.
Okay.
I met him in Japan, and then I met him again in Hong Kong, and I met him again in Taipei. We became a good friend, and actually, may I share? That,
please.
Yeah, that it was Mr. Holden who saved my life.
I see. Okay.
It is a long story. I wish we have time to talk about the whole story.
Oh, we have time.
But I think it was 1960. I don't remember, 66 or 68 in Taipei, Taiwan, film festival. 19 countries attending the festival, 1 week long. And the last day, the organization have a treat all the attending 2 tour. One went to Taichung to visit the museum with antique and jade, and the second tour, the second group would go to Queen Moi. Queen Moi is near the China, the Red China, and in Queen Moi the whole village is underground.
Oh, wow.
Because of the other side from China, they mortal on this side.
Waters.
Yeah, so everybody have to stay underground, and I go to that festival with my film director and his wife, Mr. Thai Thúc Nha and his wife. Mrs. Nha would like to visit the Taichung because she loved jade, so we signed up to go to Taichung to see the museum. But the night before, William Holden called me, he asked me, Ching, where are you going tomorrow? I told him that Mr. and Mrs. Nya and me, we signed up to go to Taichung to visit the museum. He said, well, Taichung you can go anytime, but Quemoy is something not easy to go. So I think it's more interesting. You should, especially you come from Vietnam, the war country, you should go to Quemoy. I said, yes, I would love to, but my director already signed for the other trip. How can I change? He said, don't worry, I will make it happen. So I said, can you have 3 seats for us? And we all go to Quemoy. He said, yeah, okay, my car will pick you up tomorrow. So tomorrow, Mr. Holden, Mr. and Mrs. Nya and myself, we went to Quemoy. And thanks to Mr. Holden, that it was so interesting. We see the whole town, the whole city, underground. You have hospital, we have soldiers, army, we have schools, we have market and people, everything living underground, the whole city. Until the end of the day, that was the closing ceremony, the last day. The closing ceremony would be at President Chiang Kai-shek Palace. Huge, big party. And after the opening speech, there was a dancing, opening dance. President Chiang Kai-shek asked, say that Madame Chiang Kai-shek and me, we are old, we don't do the dance, the waltz. So I would like to ask the honor of our honored guest from Hollywood, Mr. William Holden. Would you please invite one of the beauty of Southeast Asia here to open the dance? So Mr. Holden, how should I say that? Madame and Mrs. And President Chiang Kai-shek at the head table, and all the guest table set like an U shape from A to Z. So Mr. Holden from America is on A, and when Mr. Chiang Kai-shek, President Chiang Kai-shek, asking him to invite one of the actresses in Southeast Asia, so he go direct from A to V, which is across the piste, the dancing floor,
Yes.
and invite me. So we were opening dance, the waltz, in the middle of the waltzing, in the middle of we are waltzing, suddenly the music stopped. We were standing right in the center of the piste. Surprise, the music stopped. President Chiang Kai-shek stand up. He said that, I am sorry, I have to stop the music. I have a very important announcement to make. Everybody was look up. He said that, I'm very sorry to let you all know that the plane returning from Taichung was crashed, killed 69 people, all the people from movie industry around Southeast Asia. 69 of them all killed. Everybody was shocked.
Sure. No.
People crying. Some of them belong husband and wife or actors and together or film director, and among that 69 people, there was a very famous film producer in Southeast Asia at that time, was Mr. Lo Kwan Tho. Lo Kwan Tho is from Cathay Pacific Film Company. At that time in Hong Kong, it was Cathay Pacific, no, Cathay Film, and Run Shaw, the Shaw's brothers film.
Yes. Mhm.
So Mr. Tur was killed among all 69 victims.
Oh.
That was a very sad. And the next day, the media list the name of all the people was killed. Mr. and Mrs. Tai Tuk Nya, my producer, my director, and my name was on the list that we were killed.
Oh.
Thanks so much to Bill Holden that he saved our life. He really did save our life. He gave me his name card. He said, Kieu Chinh, anytime you come to America, stay with us. And here's my name, my card. He lived in, I remember it was Palm Spring. Yeah. So that story will come later. Yeah.
So everything was good until about probably what the fall of Saigon in 1975. Then you had to escape Vietnam.
Yes.
Yes.
You asked me a question earlier about making movie with Burt Reynolds, right?
Yes.
Burt Reynolds and yes, I'm sorry I didn't answer that.
Yes, please go ahead.
It was 1964.
64 was Burt Reynolds.
64, yeah. When the Hollywood company came to Vietnam to film Operation CIA, Burt Reynolds and director, I think his name was Chris Nyby, and the whole film crew came to Saigon. We planned to shoot the movie in Saigon.
In Saigon? Okay.
In Saigon, south of Vietnam. But unfortunately, on the second day, the film crew came. It was the coup d'etat in Saigon.
Okay.
Curfew under the coup d'etat. Of course, we cannot shoot the movie.
Right.
So the whole film crew decided to move to Thailand.
Oh, to Thailand.
So we shot in Thailand instead of Saigon.
Mhm.
And you asked me, I remember you asked me that how was that working with Burt Reynolds?
With Burt Reynolds, yeah.
Yes.
Right?
He was such a friendly actor, very full of energy, very friendly, very macho. I remember there was a scene that we ran away on a small sampan, small boat, on the very running river, and there would be a speedboat try to kill us. They fly direct to our boat to kill us. So we have to jump out of the boat. And I said, no, I'm not a good swimmer. I can't jump to that big river. It was the big river and the water running very strongly. I said, I can't because I'm not, I can swim, but not such a good swimmer. And we have to jump, and the speedboat would run over a small boat. I said, oh, so that's why I can do that. And Bud said, you do it. I would be under the water too, so don't worry. I will be down there with you too. So I said, okay, I will jump. So when you see on the boat that when the speedboat came over and we both jumped in different direction. But I would, oh my God, where are you, Bud? Where are you? Because we jumped on different direction, And then he was swim under the boat, under the water, and looking for me and grabbed me in the water. and so scene like that, we cannot take two. Only one take.
One shot.
Only one take. Because of the speedboat, our enemy, would breaking our little boat, little
Right.
sampan. So we can't do it twice, just one, you know. And I remember Krishna Nabi said, Kieu Chinh, you have to do it, you have to do it, you have to jump. And don't worry, we will not kill you too early to kill. You have to finish the movie. We can't kill you now. So don't worry. Bert would be there and our film crew would be there. So just jump, you know. So we jump, we have to jump to make it beautiful for the scene.
Yes.
So we have to like pick up and jump down. Not only
Yes.
go down, you know,
Right.
we have to really
Yes.
fly over and go down. And when we fly over, when we falling down, it will be much deeper in the water. You know, that, all of that kind of thing that I had to do with Bert. Anyway, he was there. He would grab me under water, and such a beautiful souvenir. And there were also another scene that we went to the boat house in the jungle where would be a snake.
Snake.
And I am so scared, snake. I don't even want to look at the snake. I was so scared. But he said, we have to go through. We have to go nearby the snake, nearby, so the camera can see us and the snake. And you know, with that kind of thing, and he just grabbed my hand and, no, I don't want to see it, I don't want to look at that. You know, with that kind of thing, it was so funny that we were working together, and you know, he was fun, and the film crew loved him. I remember before the shooting was over, we was invited to one of the film crew family for dinner. And they serving all kind of food, and at the end the wife of the family bring out something very tasty dishes, you know, something fried and deep with the sauce, and they said that this is a very famous dishes in Thailand. So I eat one, Bert eat one, and Bert say, what is that? Is that pork or beef or what? He said, no, this is snake food. Okay, what? I just swallow one. I just swallow one piece. No, how can I take it out now? I just swallow one piece. It was snake fry something and dipping in some salt. I said, oh my God, no. So it was so fun to work with Bert. He said, it's okay, we won't die. If they can eat it, we can eat it. We won't die. Okay. Oh my God! So it was a beautiful souvenir. Also in South Vietnam, I worked in another movie called Destination Vietnam. That is a co-production between Hollywood and Philippines, and I have the opportunity to working with another famous actor from Philippines. His name was Leopoldo Salcedo, the top actor in Philippines. We shot the movie in Tây Ninh, which is the border, South Vietnam, the border of Cambodia and Tây Ninh. Curfew time. Because at night time, the company's shooting, you know, so there's a curfew, and we have to stay in the bunker at night time. 6 p.m. is the wrap of the day, and everybody go down to the bunker and live there during the shooting. And when that movie premiered in Philippines, we have, maybe it will not happen the second time. The only premiere I have in my life is such amazing way. They welcome us arriving in Philippines in a military way. Red carpet from the airplane, from the airport. And we were picked up by an open jeep. The jeep with a gun, the big cannon on the jeep. We're going from airport to town, and people on the both sides of the street with waving at us, Leopoldo Salcedo and me on the open jeep with the gun, military way, and above was a helicopter, drop flyer to welcome us, the stars of the movie and about the movie, Destination Vietnam. You know, so I don't think it will happen the second time in my career. It was amazing until yeah. So I worked quite a few films in Southeast Asia at that time. In Philippines as well, and then in Philippines 2 more movies, and then in Thailand 3 more movies, and the last movie before the fall of Saigon, I worked in Singapore. In Singapore, the movie called Full House in Singapore. At that time in South Vietnam, I have my own movie company. It called Giao Chỉ Company. Giao Chỉ Company, we produce a film that become the very first Vietnam movie received 2 awards in Asian Film Festival. One for the best film and the second for the best actress. The film called Warrior, Who Are You? Directed by my dear friend, famous director Hoàng Vĩnh Lộc. It was 1971, yeah, 1971. Until 1974, my last movie in Singapore was Full House. During the time shooting that movie, you know, the fall of South Vietnam is the 30th of April, 1975. And I was shooting the movie at the end of March till mid-April. Every day shooting the movie. The movie story is about young people, fun, dancing, playing music, singing, dancing, have fun. But deep down in my heart, I was so worried about the situation of my country, about my family left in Saigon. And every day I receive a telegram, phone call from Saigon that don't go back. Stay there, keep the money, keep the dollar, stay there. Because of millions of people now in South Vietnam, in Saigon, are finding the way to get out. Everybody finding a way to change money, piastre, the dong money, the Vietnamese dong piastre, turn to dollar and leave the country. And at that time, I just finished 3 movies, 2 in Thailand and 1 in Singapore. And I have quite a few dollars. They said that don't go back. Stay there, keep the money. So every day on the set, I was happy, fun, dancing, singing, playing music. But when leaving the set, my heart was burning, burning. What should I do? Go home or stay? So at the end, I cannot just leave my family behind. I have to go back, and I did. I go back. I make a mistake. I go back. I go back to Saigon. At the time, the whole city was in panic. People running around looking for a way to get out. and I was out and I'm coming back. The plane coming back, I'm the only one passenger. I went back on a plane, that plane going to pick up the people from American embassy to go out, and other embassy for all the embassy family to go out. And I go back. I go back to see that all my money I had to change into Vietnamese monies. At the airport, I have to change. I cannot bring dollar in. And going home, my family was mad with me. He said, I told you not to go back, why you go back? And I go back, I see that every morning wake up, I see that the communists come closer to town. Every morning I wake up, I see we lost one city. We lost Hue, we lost Nha Trang, we lost Ban Mae Thuột. We losing the communist soldier coming closer and closer to us. And in the close to the very last day, my family told me that I have to get out because I'm still having a passport. Greg, you have to understand that that time nobody could leave the country without a passport, and nobody would have the passport. It's very difficult to leave the country without any official reason. I carry a diplomatic passport since the movie I made in India, that the media in India call me the goodwill ambassador from South Vietnam. Therefore, when I come back to Saigon, I was granted a diplomatic passport. With that passport, I thought that I could leave the country anytime, which I did. So on the 23rd of April, my dear friend, the dear friend of my family, say that tomorrow we will have, he is the vice president of Vietnam Airlines. He told me that tomorrow Vietnam Airlines would have a last flight out of Saigon. We will go to Philippines. So he said, okay, Chinh, you pack everything, and tonight, because at that time the Saigon is curfew, tonight I will take the VIP car with the flight VIP. I will pick you up at 3 in the morning. We go to the airport. The plane will take off at 8. So I packed 7 suitcases, everything I can pack. And 3 o'clock in the morning, my friend with a VIP flight car pick me up. We go to the airport. At the airport, with millions of people, so crowded. Everybody trying to get out. But most of the people who were able to enter the airport, they are American soldiers, American with their Vietnamese wife and children, all the girlfriends, or others, military like Philippines, like Korea and Canadian, and you know, all the people at the airport. And the plane's supposed to take off at 8 o'clock. But I think it was around 6 a.m. the airport get attacked. The mortar attacked the airport. It was so chaos. No plane can take off. No plane can take off. I stayed there for another day at the airport until the next morning. No more mortar attack. and then there is one Pan-American plane take off with the American embassy's family only. My friend, Mr. Nguyễn Xuân Thu, he's the vice president of Vietnam Airlines. He knows everybody at the airport, of course, from the airline. He told me that, Chinh, I was able to get one seat for you. So go, with our luggage. At the very last minutes before the plane take off, he grabbed my hand. I was able to put only one of my handbag. I always carry the handbag. In the handbag, only my passport. I always carry a small address book with telephone and addresses, emergency telephone, and a few Vietnamese money, no use, in my pocket. So with that bag, and my friend grabbed my hand, and we ran to the piste, crossed the piste to the plane before the plane closed the door. He pushed me to the plane, and he pushed me all the way. He was able to get on the plane. Pushed me, no more seat available for me. I have to go all the way at the end of the plane. There was a seat belonged to the flight crew attendant at the area where they're serving drinks and food at the end, behind the toilet, the restroom. So he asked one of the flight attendant give her that seat, and he pushed me down, and then he ran back. He had to go. No seat for him. He can't go. He ran back. He said, go. But he told me the plane is not going to Philippines. They go back to Singapore. They go to Singapore. So you know that you'll go to Singapore, not Philippines. He already arranged for people to see me in Philippines by the Air Vietnam people. But Singapore, no, we didn't plan for that. So he left the plane, the door closed, the plane took off. We landed in Singapore. The moment I landed in Singapore, they put me in jail due to my passport belonged to a government that no longer in power. I became a stateless person. I don't have an entry visa. My passport belonged to a government that about to lose. They called it no longer in power. And they stamped on my passport like stateless. So my entry is illegal. They put me in jail. I was in jail for one night. The next day, when all the women, all kind of women in jail, when we go to the restroom to clean up in the morning, when I stay in line, I saw one soldiers, the guard, I don't know, soldier or police or something, the guard of jail. They are reading a magazine, and the magazine cover is my photo, because I just finished a movie there.
Right.
I just finished a movie just 2 weeks ago.
Sure.
Just 2 weeks ago, media, daily newspaper, magazine, a lot of my photo.